Hi, and welcome to Anna Sunchoi's Social Impact TV. And as we learned from our last episode, what is a social entrepreneur? It is now my privilege and honor to have Tay and Val, who are both social entrepreneurs that make a huge difference. And you can see below their bio. But they have inspired me completely from the moment I met with them as two courageous women who have, well, I'll let them actually share about themselves. That'll be much better. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So welcome.
Thank you for having us, Anna.
Yeah.
I am Tay, and this is Val.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead and just share with us your story, like what inspired you to be where you are today, to give a background and context of where you came from.
Right. So we're born and raised in Singapore, and we've always lived what I would call the checklist life of a successful millennial, successful young adult, if you will. And for us in Singapore, the checklist includes the 5 C's, which are career, college degree, career, condominium, car, and then ideally by the time you retire, you're in one of those fancy country club memberships. So we were well on track of that. We've checked off most of those boxes when we had a wake-up call, and it was that particular wake-up call that tuned us into our purpose. And so now we're in a position where we're able to say that everything that we do in every single one of the businesses that we run, our intention is to help people lead their best lives. And we do that through creating an enlightened economy where everyone has a sense of purpose in the roles that they play. Yeah.
Tay, anything you want to add?
Good.
Yeah. Okay, good. And you guys have a unique story because that's almost a snapshot of where you are now. But how did just share a little bit more about?
You mean like the wake up call story?
Yeah.
Well, my wake up call was actually the day when my boss from a production company flew me all the way from Singapore to New York to collect my first ever Best Director award on an international level.
Yes.
I flew myself all the way across the ocean and landed myself at the airport. I remember the immigration officer asked me, "What are you doing in New York?" Of course, not so enthusiastically, but what are you doing in New York? It's like, I'm here to collect this prize. So there I was in Tribeca. I went and collected the award that night. In high heel shoes, no less. And that night I walked back to my hotel room. I entered the room. And all of a sudden, it was just silence. There was no one there with me to share my so-called glory. And I also realized that there's this emptiness inside me. It's like, I've got to where I want to be. Why am I not fulfilled?
And this was like the global, say the word again. It was, you were
New York International
TV. All the way to. Okay.
Yeah.
The New York International Festival, and you just won the gold medal or gold
medal
for the best director in the world.
For someone who is in Asia, I received a so-called a Western recognition.
Okay.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And all my life, I always thought if I get the next bigger thing, the next bigger award, I would be happy and I would be fulfilled.
Yes.
And it turned out to be no. That night I was standing in the middle of a very small hotel room, but I felt so empty, as if I was in the middle of the desert. There was so much emptiness inside me that was like, hey, hell no, this is not where my life is supposed to be. So what do I truly want? Yes. So that was a pivoting point.
And I always think because it's creative, it's filmmaking, it's documentary, that would be fulfilling, but still, was it, what wasn't fulfilling about it was the lack of community that was there to celebrate with you, or something deeper, in your soul, or?
Well, for me,
yeah,
filmmaking has always been my passion. It is something that I really love.
Yeah.
Right? But I personally have never been able to acknowledge my own achievements. So I have
no matter how many you have,
yes.
Never enough.
So I was never able to say, "Hey, Tay, you did great on this. Hey, you had a part to play in this." So because I wasn't able to acknowledge my own contributions, I feel like I'm giving and giving and giving. was nothing coming back.
Yes.
It's because I didn't want to receive it.
Gotcha. Okay, good. So then there you were, and you were at that moment in time, and then you hadn't met yet, or you had at that point?
We had,
Okay.
but I didn't give up. Still then, I did not give up. I had a huge call to, you either pivot here or you go deeper into what you truly want in life. You ask yourself this question and you answer it. But I didn't answer it. It was a call. I didn't answer the call. I think 2 or 3 years later, I brought Val in to open a production company together.
But for 2 more years, you just kept going with what you were doing.
I think so.
Okay.
And then we went on to produce a documentary drama.
Right. So the P.S. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The idea was really to bring 2 parties together to facilitate an apology. Who may have, because of a misunderstanding, like a father and son, between 2 friends, between 2 lovers, they might have misunderstood each other for whatever they feel like they were right. And for like 5-10 years, they drifted apart and never talked to each other. An apology,
like so many relationships. Yes.
And we wanted is to see how you can walk through this journey to eventually reach a point of conciliation for yourself, a closure. Right? So we got together for 6 months. We poured our heart and soul and money and everything into it. And the outcome was the same. We had a great audience feedback. It was a great show. We had great viewership. But
the station even offered to renew us for the next season. And you're like, what do you want to do? So we had, in a lot of people's eyes, the world was ours. We had the power of media. Like, how many young women out there could come on? Like, what do you want to put on TV, right? We were doing meaningful work, like facilitating real apologies on TV that not only provided closure to the people we were featuring, but also closure to the audience at some level. So we're doing good.
Was it like real live TV, like Survivor style, but just like people apologizing on?
It's not scripted reality.
Oh, no
So
way. It's a reality series. I didn't realize that. That's
so I would literally.
Oh my god.
Let's say you have an apology. I will follow you for 6 months until you reach a point of closure.
Oh, how fascinating. Okay.
And the amazing thing was, even though we didn't capture every single apology as they happened, like we left some people to their own privacy.
Yes.
That was unheard of in the TV industry. Like, you want as much entertainment value as possible. But we really wanted this to be about the journey. And the amazing thing was the audience gave us props for that. And they were like, well,
to respect
done.
that. That's, what could be
that's so refreshing.
Yes.
Really,
yes.
for once,
honest.
TV had sense.
Yes.
And it was just amazing to be on that wave, like, on that creative wave. Yet it was one of those things that that used up all of us. It filled everyone else up except for ourselves.
Yeah. So like we were empty in our souls, in our heart, in our pockets.
Wow.
And it was another wake up call, right? And we had to sit down and ask ourselves, so what's next? How do we move on? Should we continue draining ourselves this way, or is there another way to do this that we did not know about? So we rebelliously took 2 backpacks and went on a vacation.
We said 2 backpacks and next month's rent. And then we went on a backpacking trip in Taiwan. And it was on this trip that we, by a series of really synchronized events, we came across this elderly gentleman, and he was the one who put us on this journey to bicycle around the world that brought us here to this very moment that we are here today.
I listened to your other podcast, where you had tsunami warnings and everything was against you, and then you found this.
We followed the dog.
Yeah. I was like, you followed it. So they had these really sketchy directions, right, from the consulate or whoever
tourism
where to stay, right? And then can you share that just briefly, and then how you?
So, really brief version.
Yes.
We really wanted to go to the beach. Like, no matter what, we just wanted to, like, for once, be irresponsible and really treat ourselves and fill ourselves up. We thought we could do that by hanging out, on the sand and just enjoy the ocean. We arrived in the airport, and there was a tsunami alert. So all beaches were closed. It was like the universe had put out a vendetta against us, almost. So out of pure desperation, we stepped into the tourism board office. We're that desperate. And the officer recommended us going to the amusement park. Like,
if the typhoon alert is here, that's the only place that has water that is actually open.
It's the amusement park.
Yes, the water amusement park.
We were desperate enough to say yes. She made a phone call, and out of 365 days in a year, the amusement park only closes for one weekend for maintenance, and it wasn't.
Closed for maintenance. My goodness. Okay,
And
that was that. Silly water amusement park.
They're like, it's one of those irrational. Sometimes you just follow this irrational yearning and longing. You just really needed to be by some water of some sort, and that irrationality really just. We broke down. Like I broke down. I was all ready to cry. But she said, "Okay, off the books, off the record. This is not an official recommendation. But I just went to a train B&B right next to the ocean.
Train B&B. Yep.
Like train B&B, that's the water. She's like, it's right next to the ocean. Do you want to go? And we're like, sure. So she gave us a set of really dodgy instructions, like take the local trains. 45 minutes later, you will arrive at this station whose name we cannot pronounce, and then exit by the back door instead of where everyone else was going. And then you take the stairs, and then you land in the dirt path. Follow the dirt path. Every time you need to make a turn left until you have made 3 left turns until you come face to face with a husky dog. Husky dog in Taiwan, sure. And then here's the kicker. She said, follow the dog. We were like, okay. And just like, the dog will bring you to the B&B. And we did all of that. We followed the dog.
Met the dog.
We actually met the dog.
Yeah,
We actually followed it and landed in the train B&B where we met the owner, who was the elderly gentleman. And his 3 words were, I think we both of us had our series of different wake-up calls that we just simply ignored. It was kind of like our phone was ringing, we just pretended it wasn't.
Yep.
Until we met this gentleman, and we were like, why do you have this place in the middle of nowhere? Like, I couldn't even Google to come here, right? And he was like, just 3 words, and he said it in the most almost indignant way, right? He said, it's my dream. What stupid question are you asking? Right? It was almost like if you are hungry, you will eat. If you're thirsty, you will drink. If you're human, you need to breathe, so you breathe. And therefore, if you have a dream, you go, you do everything you can to fulfill it. And that finally broke the dam for us. Yeah,
It was like the call was getting louder and louder. Follow the dog. It's like, it's my dream. Hello.
I couldn't figure out why would a 65-year-old gentleman have more energy and more passion for life than the both of us combined.
Yes,
right?
young
women. Why?
Yeah, it didn't make sense until those 3 words. And that was when we're like, oh, yeah. This is not your typical elementary school essay, what do I want to be when you grow up? And then you give like a model answer so that the teachers can give you an A class. This is like a real existential purpose question. Like, what? Like you're given this precious, precious time on earth and this excellent, healthy, vibrant body. What do you want to do with it? And it was a real question that really hit home. And we took our time during a period of staying with him to really think about it.
So I fast forward right now. I was shocked. So he had this dream, the same gentleman, to visit all the train stations on bike. Yes. And you were like, "Yeah, we'll go with you."
Yeah.
And then you, and then you did, which I was like, "What?" And then you had all your camera crews. I mean, it wasn't like a small decision, right? You had to deal with. They've got some great videos you've got to check out that show that whole process. But eventually, right, you got all the funding for it. You told your parents for like, what? And you left home. You went on your bikes, and then like right away, a few weeks in, right, his mom dies.
5 days in.
5 days in. Oh my gosh. His mom dies. He has to go back to be with her for 100 days. And what happened after that? Because I know it like.
He was stranded, basically, on that island.
I mean, did all the TV crew like still follow you around?
No,
They left.
I was devastated.
They all left.
Everybody left.
Everybody left.
I had a cameraman who came all the way from Singapore to follow us on the journey.
Yes.
And now I have nothing for him to do, right? It's like, we were going to make this epic documentary, and it just ended in 5 days.
5 days after everything you transitioned.
After
you answer the call, and then the call was another stuff of it.
It was one of those like,
our life.
Hi, I jumped. Then you realize there's no net.
Yeah, it's like then you're about to hit. Yeah.
You're like, okay, there's no net. We better grow some wings now.
Yeah. So that you sent the guy home, the Singapore cameraman home, and then And then you just got asked to speak to some schools, but then you had no camera.
We were couch surfing at that point.
Oh, okay,
so, fortunately, we met a teacher in another city of Taiwan. So we cycled there, we met her, we were in this whatever state, whatever. And she has always had a dream to teach Taiwanese students English.
So it was as rote learning.
Oh, interesting.
You would learn the language through their cultural story.
Yes.
It was just a beautiful way. And of course, that was something we could get behind.
Yes.
So she said, come and visit, my students. And we thought, sure, just go there and read storybooks, right? How hard can it be? We went in. First of all, she opened the door. We found ourselves walking into an auditorium. Hundreds of
screaming. I was like, oh man, 108 to 10-year-olds. And so her name is Helen. Helen stood in front of the auditorium. She asked the students, hey students, how are you this morning? Are you great? Everybody was like, no! I was like, okay.
It was like that terrible age, right? They would go all out to
tell your face.
To claim their individuality.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so Helen went ahead and told the auditorium of students, hey, I have two very special guests today, Tay and Val. Let them come and tell you this very awesome story about them chasing their dream and meeting this uncle in the middle of Taiwan, in the middle of nowhere.
You didn't give us the memo. I thought I was gonna read maybe Cinderella or
something. Not much prep there.
and all my life I have been behind the camera. I was very comfortable behind the camera. So that I was in front of the crowd, and I was so nervous, right? I wanted to ask the students how many of you have a dream. I ended up asking, how many of you do not have a dream? And I wasn't expecting anyone to raise their hands, but at the back of the auditorium there was a row of girls whose hands shot up immediately, and they were saying that they have no dreams. And I was like, awkward, shocked, didn't know what to do next. How do I continue from here?
And I was like, pivot, next story.
So we jump around, be even more inspiring, be very motivational. Told our story, and at the end of the day, we managed to turn the situation around. Got everybody clapping and cheering, and we got the students to write on their hand what their dream is.
Yes.
With a marker, and come down to the front of the stage and declare it, to their cohort, to their friends. My dream is to be an astronaut. My dream is, everyone was clapping. And then from the corner of our eyes, right, we saw this row of girls who stood up. The girls who said they had no dream stood up and started walking down.
And I was like, is there a hole here on this stage? Because I kind of want to go in there right now. Because it was my own stereotyping of them. Firstly, they would sit at the back, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, they raised their hands when you're not supposed to. So naturally, I thought they must be some troublemakers, and I really didn't know, nor do I want to deal with that. Not after I've spent the last hour turning the situation around and finally gaining some trust and credibility, and like these people kind of like me. But she came anyway, and everyone knew. So there was this weird, awkward, hushed silence. It's amazing. You didn't think that those hundreds of kids could shut up, but they actually did. And so this gal was just standing in front, and her hands are more clenched, just so tight. And I was just like, let's just get it over and done with. And finally, she opened her palm, and she said with a small, quiet, still voice, she said, I will find my dream. That's when you're like, okay, first, you send your 65-year-old elderly gentleman to really slap me on one side and ask me to wake up. And then you had his mother pass away. I can't even blame her for passing away. And you put us, you leave us stranded, and you put us in this weird situation. And now you have this, 8 or 10-year-old girl come and autocorrect me on my path again and said, she will find her dream. And then I realized within me this power to inspire young children and adults alike.
Everybody, yeah.
To wake up, to find their dreams. That was the turning point for us on the story. on this journey. It was when we started going into schools, cafe, companies, you name it. Whoever who was willing to have us, we would go to ask that question. What is your dream?
And you just went for it. I mean, you went to like, what is it, 13 continents, 450 public talks and with schools and
almost, now that you say it, like on hindsight, it almost felt like a journey that we could not turn back on. Like we had a choice.
It felt like a dream.
we had a choice there and then to just go back, right? Because everything failed. Right?
Yes.
Nothing was working.
Yes.
We could have just gone home.
Yes.
But
yes.
we didn't. Like every step of the way, someone was there to say, "Hey, keep going."
The next.
Hey, this
part.
is your mission. This is why you're doing this. Every step of the way, someone was reminding us, remember why you're doing this.
Yes.
Understand why you're doing this. Keep going.
Yes.
Like every single person. For 5 years on the road, we've never starved.
Yeah.
We've never had to sleep under a bridge. We always had somebody
No plans, right? Because it was just unfolding. Like Spirit was talking to you.
Yeah, we always had somebody invite us into their house for a warm bed, hot shower, hot food. Right? I remember there was one day we were in.
Are you going to share the Veracruz story?
Yeah, Veracruz in Mexico. Two of us had a previous host already arranged that night we were going to his house.
Yes.
And because we didn't have a phone, so somehow we lost contact with him and we don't have his address. So we were there.
We don't have his address. We didn't know how to use the public telephones. It was just eating up all our coins. We couldn't get access to him. So we were basically stranded. We thought we were going to have to sleep on the beach that night.
So we were standing by the phone booth. A lady came up. She looked at us. And I was like,
she actually passed us. And then she just kept looking at us. And then finally she turned back and then she came to us and she said, "Are you Tay and Val?"
No.
We were like, who are you? And she's like, you girls. And then she looked at our bike. She's like, you girls, the ones cycling around the world. And we're like,
No.
how do you
Fame comes before you.
how do you know that? Right?
Yes.
And she's like, I saw you on couch surfing and I'm a journalist. I've been following your story.
No.
Turns out that she
No.
recognized us from our jackets.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, bright pink jacket.
The two jackets that we always wore for any photos and whatever. Branding.
Yes,
Anyways, she brought us home. We stayed with her for a week.
No way.
And then she brought us to the newspaper office and did an article.
She basically
No
did
way.
a whole media circuit with us. We did TV, radio, newspaper,
No
magazines.
way.
She said, now you don't ever have to worry about being stranded because everyone will recognize you and everyone will open their doors to you.
Oh my gosh. That is so great.
So throughout this entire journey, we understood that this thing that everybody calls a destiny is not something where
it's handed to you on a plate.
Yeah. At every step of the way, every moment, you can make the decision to co-create this consciously. Like, how do you want this path to unfold for you? You have the choice to either say, I'm done, like stop. Or you have the choice to say, hey, I know this is my path. I know what I'm doing. And then you trust and you allow the support to come in.
And either you allow or you deny.
Yes.
I mean, and then the slap got louder, but you could still deny it technically, or receive.
Yes.
And that's exactly like the kind of work that you do, right? So I've had the privilege to have sessions with you, and it's been very transformative in having me realize my own purpose, listening to myself versus depending on outside circumstances or people or advisors, which I think so much of us do. So share a little bit more now, right, as spiritual advisors and mentors for Fortune 500 company CEOs. First off, how do you even, brand that? There could be a lot of myths, out there or lies of, how can you can't bring spirituality and business together, right? But I think underneath all of it, there's a lot of happening. People just don't, it's like not cool to talk about, but it's becoming, I think, more the norm. So share some of those top, myths people might have about spirituality and business, or like, being a spiritual mentor.
So first of all, the the value and the help and the support that we bring to the table is ancient. Okay, our ancestors, I don't care what color you are from, what culture you're from, have been practicing this for years. If you think about it, all the leadership of all the tribes, way back during those tribal days, they all have medicine and women and spiritual counsel.
Always, yeah.
Always. Like, why do you think that is? Where we grew up in Asia, every decent company who knows what they're doing, they all have spiritual counsels on their board. Because that's the
And are they called that?
There's spiritual advisors or spiritual
It's
counselors.
actually called spiritual advisors and counselors.
Yeah. Steve Jobs of Macintosh hired a Zen master to be his spiritual advisor on Macintosh's board. That's like on Forbes.com, right?
And we're not talking about you hire somebody and you give your power all to that person who tell you, say, hey, you need to purchase this stock today, and then you need to make that decision the next day. It's not that. It's you hire spiritual advisors to give you information that you might not necessarily be aware of, or the stories that you are telling yourself that might be limiting at this point in time, but not serving you where you want to go 3, 5, 10 years down the road. And they're able to use their gifts or talents and skills to provide you with information like A, B, C, D. And then you make an empowered decision to what you want.
It's like another perspective.
Yeah. If you would consult,
just like you have a marketing department.
There you go. If you would consult a branding specialist, if you would say you would hire, say, Ogilvy to do your advertising branding campaign, and if you say you hire PwC to do your accounting, and then you hire some other law firm, wouldn't you hire spiritual counselors to give you that particular perspective? And when I say the word spiritual, a lot of people think, oh, especially in Western world, you mean like ghosts? Can you see my dead grandma?
Yeah, or see
religion.
colors or lights.
Or they see religion, or they think religion,
Yeah.
like so, like you Buddhist,
Yeah.
right? They look at us that way, and we're like, none of the above. When I say spirituality, I'm talking about the soulful part of your business, the part that aligns your intentions and your actions and your outcomes. So if you think about in terms of bringing back to social impact, and any social enterprises, they all have triple bottom line, right?
Yes.
They think about the financial profit. They think about the
People,
work,
planet, and profit.
Yes.
Yep.
environmental stewardship, planet stewardship, and then also the community give back.
Yes.
We are the part that ties all these three things together, makes sense of it for you.
That you tie together, people, planet, and profit. Say more about that.
So if you look at the energy of a business,
Yes.
okay, that is the fundamentals of your business model.
Yes.
How do you actually make money,
Yes.
right? So, and then if you look at the tribe of the business, who are you actually serving? Who are your clients? How do this relationship actually work? How do you want this relationship to work? And then if you look at on a global scale, your global impact, right? How are you going to help lift this economy or help lift this planet with the system or the structure of the business that you have? So all of this, we are looking at it from our point of view. We're looking at it in terms of energy.
Yes.
You can look at it from a business model where the numbers are coming in, the profits are coming in. All these are the structures that's going to tell you systematically whether your business model is working.
Yes.
Right? But what happens when, like, say, we have worked with companies where all out of, like, for no rhyme and reason, the employees are starting to feel sick. Team dynamics are not working.
Yeah.
Like, for no rhyme and reason. Like,
Or at least not on the surface. Like you're like,
And maybe you've tried everything, right? You've gotten a lot of.
and the numbers are doing well.
Yes.
So do you just ignore these people and just keep growing your profits?
Which a lot of people do, right? They're miserable, the team, but the money looks good.
Or can you actually create a system that flows from your purpose, your mission back to the tribe that you are serving, to the community, and then to the profits that actually flows beyond just a structure and a system. And that is when you actually look at energy.
so I'll give you a concrete case study that we worked with a client who literally, she's a branding agency, digital agency, so really modern technology based. And she boomed overnight, right? From 2-man shop to a 20-person team, which is like,
Wow.
she did A, as a human, as a leader, that's a transition that she needed to navigate. B, half her team was not showing up for work either. They're sick, their family is sick, their pets
What
are
was the
sick.
kind of company again? It was
The digital agency,
It's a digital agency.
right? somebody is always, or some family emergency or relationship, whatever.
Yes.
The team is just not showing up
Yes.
fully.
Yeah.
And so when we worked with her, we uncovered a few things. And firstly, she has always carried herself around as a two-person company, right? And so when employees come and they show up for work at the office, they feel the constricted container.
They may not two-person, you mean like she's got the business personality and then her personal. She really separates the two?
She used to be a two-woman shop. Like just two women.
So she's operating, I see, like a sole entrepreneur, a sole proprietor would.
Yes.
Okay.
And then versus like she's not
a big
CEO
company.
of a team.
Yes, she doesn't know how to.
Yeah. And so people may not be able to articulate it, but they can feel the constriction. We call it the size of an energetic container. So she had an energetic container for her business for two women. That's it. We helped her expand that container to fit all 20 of them.
Huh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm like, but that's the work that you do. Yeah.
Some communications or leadership expert may come in and say, well, we need to transition this founder to becoming a CEO. So she has to catch up on all her management skills and all that.
Yeah, or they talk about founder syndrome, they can't let it go.
Yeah. But as a human mind, right?
Yes.
And the human heart manages and navigates that transition, what can we do right away?
Yes.
So that employees are not feeling that constriction.
Yes.
And they may call it stress, they may call it overwhelm, they may call it burnout, they may just call it outright oppressive. Right?
Yes.
It's sometimes got nothing to do with the leader. It's just the container is not big enough.
Huh.
It's almost like you say that you know your vision for the next 10 years. It's this thing, it's this big thing that you want to do. And that fits back to everything that you're doing today so that we can get to that. Right? Every single decision that you make.
Yes.
So for us, it's the same thing. Spiritual work gets done first. And then that guides.
That becomes the future.
That guides your mentality, your mindset. That guides your behavior, your decisions. It's a very straightforward path. It's a path of least resistance.
And you can be able to expand your energetic self or container. Fascinating. I love it. Okay, good. And then what have been your biggest challenges or failures that you've had along the way in this business?
I think our greatest challenge is ourselves. Like we have this great big vision of serving corporations. We know we are at a point whereby our work will really serve corporations in the corporation sense versus like a one-on-one kind of thing. And when we stretch our muscles and go out of our comfort zones and go and talk to investors, go and talk to corporations. So the first challenge will be how can we explain what we just said in a way that they understand. Right. In a context that they can see it tangible and have an ROI on it.
Yes.
Like even if they understand, they want to be able to explain to their team. Yes. Right. And
it's kind of like with sustainability in social enterprises, they can't ever say like this is good for the earth, ever. Yeah. It's always like, what's the ROI? And this is why. Because if you actually replace all of Walmart's, light bulbs with fluorescents, that actually not only saves you money, but has long-term ramifications as well.
Yeah. So learning to be able to speak in that sense, has been a challenge. Of course. And also being able to own our space as spiritual advisors and conscious leaders.
I mean, if you look at us on screen, we look like somebody's daughter. Graduated from high school, right? And let's just be very honest.
I know.
We have the privilege of Asian genes.
Yes.
And I permanently am mistaken for somebody's daughter in a panel or somebody's daughter at a conference. Like, oh, where's your mom or where's your dad? Like, bring your daughter to school.
Yes.
And I can dress the part. I can age for with makeup and hair for the part. People are gonna think what they're gonna think, and it's because it's a comfortable and easy thing. It's some of the shortcuts that our brain makes. Right?
Yes.
And so we've been to say mentorship or startup week, which is like a huge community entrepreneur ecosystem every year. And last year we were there, and it was this mentorship panel whereby they were pairing us with women leaders who had so-called made it. They're angel investors, and you sign up for like a 30-minute advisory session where they either give you connections or advice or are practical things you can do to help or take your business to the next stage. Now, we were very intentional. We attended Startup Week A to support our clients, and then B, who are speaking, and then B, to really initiate ourselves into startup community. So, because for a while now we've been hiding-ish, right? Working behind the scenes. And so we introduced ourselves at this panel, and the first question that mentors asked were, so do you have clients? Like it was so way out, what we were doing is so way out that it would be inconceivable that we have clients, right? And they didn't ask it in a condescending way. It was more of a, why is this a business? Like they can't see themselves helping us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a very common challenge.
How did you answer?
That we face. So what we
in front of everybody? They asked?
Yeah.
Oh,
In fact, it wasn't in front of everybody. It wasn't even like a private sit down.
Oh no.
we were breaking off into like pairs from investor mentor to pair with a participant.
Okay.
Pair.
Yeah.
So straight up, this lady was like, "Do you have clients?" We were like,
we were deciding which mentor would be the best one to pair with us.
Yes.
Straight up, your clients and
you had to say.
We had to on the spot shift from indignance, because it's very easy to be indignant and defensive.
Yes.
To like, yes, we're actually here because our clients are speaking. Right?
Yes.
And not lose your space and not lose your head over it.
Yeah.
And not let this particular question and comment like ruin your day or year for
or not even let our clients become our arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not name dropping now because
Yeah.
how great I am, but really staying in our power and owning this leadership. That, yes, I have.
Yeah, this is a very feasible
I
business.
have a viable business.
And I want to grow it because I see the value that I bring to the entrepreneur community. Would you help me out?
Yes.
So,
and you're like high level. It's not like you're doing some commoditized, volume business. It's a very high level kind of service offering. But
so the greatest
that
challenge,
has been proven. Yeah.
the greatest challenge, which is also our greatest advantage, is ourselves. Like, how can I respond constantly from a place of leadership?
Yeah.
And how do I carry myself constantly, showing up every moment to, like pioneer this wave that yes, we can bring spirituality, and it is actually tangible. It can give you a very real people ROI.
Yes.
Right?
Numbers,
Yes.
ROI, you name it. And so what we've taken is we've taken a particular experience, and the things we talked about in our newsletter, we got so much feedback from people. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you for like showing up in that community, right? And also our clients were like, good job for, staying on your lane and not,
Staying on your lane. Yeah.
not going like
Veering off. Yeah.
Reverse.
Yeah.
It's low bet. Do you want to?
Oh, yes. Okay, great. And how many, I think, where are we? Yes. Let's, I don't have, so we're gonna, let's see if we can.
Let's begin.
Yes. Okay, good.
So I'm going to say how we address it. So
Yes.
what we've done is we've taken that particular experience and then we've worked our way into the Startup Week organizing committee. And what we've done is we've created a platform for this conversation to be had. How can you bring spirituality and personal development to help you in your business development? So
Share more. Yes. How can we find you? How can we learn more about you?
So we're like leading this personal development track in Startup Week, which is in October, first week,
Yes.
and we inviting you to come speak.
Yes.
Like share your skills and help the community. So yeah, it's going to be all about mind, body, heart, spirit, and we're going to be talking about the exact challenge, like why is personal development needed in business? How would it actually help you, bring on the next stage of success for yourself? And then the mindsets, the body work, how do you maintain performance and productivity when you need it? How do you deal with the emotional roller coaster of being an entrepreneur?
Yes.
And how do you bring in your full self into your business? And I'm talking about bringing the spiritual side of it as well. Every one of us has it.
Yes.
Right? How do you bring that 2 feet versus like be one person at home and then be another person when you show up for it?
Yes. One holistic self. That's what really, you're very holistic. So the Startup Week, and then what else?
if you are a leader in your business, the most obvious way for you to start becoming or creating a social impact enterprise is to create a purpose-led or purpose-based business. And so we have an excellent resource, a four-day audio whereby we guide you through really digging deep. It's really simple, 15 minutes a day, but you dig really deep to discover what is that purpose that we're talking about. It's not a vocation, it's not a passion, it's definitely not your career description, but it is that one thing that no matter what happens, whether it's a high or a low in life, it is that one thing that drives, that auto-corrects you back on your path. It is the phone that is ringing, and we help you distill that. And it's a gift that we would like to offer your audience. And you can find the link to access it there.
Excellent. Awesome. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. It's been a true pleasure. And yes, so be sure, there's so many resources. Literally, it's like inspiration on demand. Just go to their channel. Like I couldn't like stop watching. I was just like play. It'll just lift you up and give you lots of doses just to be with both of these wonderful social enterprise leaders. And I'm so excited for the Seattle Startup Week that you're organizing the whole track for, so people can definitely learn from there and then go to your website, www.tayandval.com. It's Tay and like the letter N, Val.com. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.